Hello guys, and welcome to my first Sadako in-depth add-on tier list. This time we're gonna discuss about her Mother's Mirror add-on, which is the add-on in the bottom left, if you see the icon. And now, before I'm gonna show you some things in game, we're gonna focus on this guide that I've prepared for you, where there are some basic stats about Sadako, about the flickering, so how it is by default, then with Mother's Mirror, and then with all newspaper, and then with Mother's Mirror and all newspaper. I'm gonna link this file in the description so you can check it whenever you want. And the part we're gonna focus in this guide is this one. So show you some things in game that to explain you in a bit more visual way why, in my opinion, Mother's Mirror is better than iridescent videotape. And so first of all, this is a tier list considering like I value this add-on based on how strong it is against competitive survivors. And with competitive survivors, I mean for survivors in communication that are very, very strong. You can check a bit the rules in my tier list video. I'm gonna link in the description, maybe if I remember. And so first of all, what does Mother's Mirror actually do in game? With Sadako, when you manifest, like now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flicker, 5 invisibility flickers with Mother's Mirror. By default, we have only 3. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then a very little one. And you can check the reason why that happens in the guide in the description. With this add-on, you have one more, and with all newspaper, we have two more, and with all newspaper you have one more from the default, and which is 3. And before I show you visually why in game this is like very good, I'm gonna explain you some things from the guide. If you don't know, I am a Sadako and also, well, a pyramid head and pinhead main, and I've done some competitive 1v1s in tournaments, and I really think that all newspaper with Raiko's watch is the best possible add-ons combination, but I'm not 100% sure, because in some situations, as you can see, in my opinion, all newspaper, like combined with all newspaper, Mother's Mirror is better than having all newspaper and Raiko's watch. This because it's sometimes at loops that aren't tall, or some particular cases you cannot use Raiko's watch too well, because basically with Raiko's watch, even if it's 1.5 seconds, you cannot attack, like you still have to manifest. While if you have Mother's Mirror and all newspaper, you have always 4 flickers, always 4. And yeah, and that can give you an extra 50-50 chance add loops, and I'm gonna show you why visually now in game, which is why I'm doing this with my second account, that is the Dwight. Now I'm moving with my Epic Games account, and so let's consider this loop. Now, right now I am on Borgo because it has a lot of loops with two sizes, sorry, palette loops with two sizes that are more or less the same, but also not too big, like the cowshed eye loops, you know, those really big walls. Well, in this case, Borgo doesn't, like, luckily, at least you know, it's a terrible map, but doesn't have those. And so let's suppose I am White, and from here we are in this situation where I am here, I am manifesting, and I do a 50-50 mind game. If I keep walking and go around the loop, as Sadako, I lose distance, and with 3 flickers, what is gonna happen is that if I, like, let's suppose I don't predict that Dwight goes forward, but he vaults on the left. Like, I think he vaults on the left. In that case, as you can see, I've got an extra 50-50 chance in this case, but it's only gonna work if Dwight stops at the like stops a bit at the palette to make it convincing. If I predict correctly that he is actually gonna go forward, then I still get some value. What I'm trying to demonstrate is that at loops it's not always perfect what you can do, and with this add-on, other than the many reasons I'm gonna explain later, one of the main reasons is that you can pretty much always force another 50-50 depending on the position of the loop where you are. So for example, in that case, if Dwight was going there and I was here, I can do with the last flicker of Mother's Mirror another 50-50, and then, you know, when I'm invisible, Dwight cannot have a reliable check spot to predict where I am at. So what I am gonna do, like where to safely vault. If you don't know what check spots are, check the exercise guide for a bit more of a competitive, in-depth explanation. Exercise is a competitive DVD 1v1 player that has done a guide on these things, and now I'm gonna explain you from the guide a bit the points that I've written. So, second point, it makes invisibility mind games at tall loops much more confusing, longer, and consistent, even versus very strong / competitive players. With competitive players, I mean players of like the best team in the world, because you know, I've played with Sadako against some competitive players that didn't really know how to play versus her, and I mean like players that actually know how to verse you, and there are some players that can do that very consistently, like Steve or 1v1 Rocket or other 1v1 competitive players. And even against them, the ability you have to confuse them more at thought loops is so much more exponential, and that more time you have, it allows to correct your mistakes. And what I explained before in game, more or less, is this. And it's really good to have that one, if not in some little cases even two more extra 50-50 chances, because that's what you really do with Sadako. Like, I mean, we call it them 50-50s, but in reality they are predictions of what survivors are gonna do. A bit more like fighting games, so it's a prediction, but it's a prediction based on experience and what your opponent has already done in game. And so you have not only at drop pallets, but even at pallets that haven't been dropped, another chance to do a 50-50. Now I'm gonna try to show this in game. And another thing you can do with Mother's Mirror is that in this case, which is, I mean, it's not too strong, but is in some loops like cut a bit of distance. So what I mean with this is that you do this, like try to cut distance in a way that even if your default invisibility is a bit trash, let's just say it, with Mother's Mirror you can do much more than default. So what I mean is this. Yeah, basically, I mean, I did not do it perfectly, but what you can do is like try to go left or right. So like the survivor, especially if there is an object that can cover you, so maybe you can like threat to come from behind here, for example. But like try with your flickers to force a survivor out of the comfort spot, which is which are the default spots where survivors stay at and have the chance to do the most loops against you when you arrive. And well, another little tip with Sadako is that you can also use the default invisibility to do some mind games, but this is very unreliable, because survivors can, if they go from the other way, they can still stun you, pass through you, so it's not as good as with Riko's Watch, where you have a long time to do things. And so let's switch again to the guide. So what I wanted to say before is that many times, like the third invisibility flicker comes too early to get value from it. So sometimes you have to wait a bit behind the wall to fully come from behind it with the fourth flicker or the fifth one, and which is only possible with Mother's Mirror. Without it, you would have to reset the entire mind game, or maybe not even do it, because like the amount of mind games you can do with 2 seconds more is so much wider and bigger in terms of numbers, because there are many more combinations you can do if you are creative. Also, another thing you can do is with Beast of Prey, go behind the shock wall if they are maybe waiting for you in a certain spot, and that can screw survivors up a bit if you are good with timing your invisibility in a way that they cannot see you through the gaps. And yeah, Beast of Prey is so good because Sadako has no footsteps, almost no breathing sound, sorry, nothing. When she is manifested, if she has no terror radius, there is only the chase music, and then that's it. She moves grass, which is one of her biggest counters in chases in some situations. So yeah, for like if poor Trapper is bad on Eerie of Crows is in some cases it is quite good for you if you have especially if you have all newspaper, because there is no grass, so and yeah, sand has, yeah, I mean, you make no footsteps, so sand doesn't really matter. And yeah, so the amount of mind games you can do is so much bigger. You have many more 50-50 chances at tall walls, and in my opinion, it pairs well with telephone, even if of course it's not the best combo, but it's still good. And with wild water also, it's a pretty nice combo, even if of course you only get the 3 seconds. Rickety Pinwheel, and in case it's kinda of a gimmicky, in case you wanna have a build with it and manifest from further, so they don't hear your sound. You come from behind the wall, walking backwards, and you do nice surprise hit. And you know, that can be quite nice in some cases, but I don't think it's the best combo to have with Rickety Pinwheel still. And the point of this section is, another point is that, in my opinion, is that it's better than iridescent videotape, because iridescent videotape, it's good in public matches, in pubs, but against very, very strong and competitive players that have full communication, that know what they're doing, the loops, and don't give you free hits. It's not the strongest add-on, even if teleporting is good. Also, if teleporting is good, for a pop you really need, they still might deactivate the TV manually, and in that case, iridescent videotape does nothing. That's another big problem. That almost always picking up TV tapes is bad, but maybe there is that time where they pick up the TV tape and, well, it's too late to get value from Condemnation usually. Maybe it's 2 gens, 1 gen left, and maybe you get 1 or 2 kills, if not 0. And yeah, many times you need to create dead zones for iridescent videotape to be better. Mother's Mirror, as well as pretty much all the good add-ons in DBD versus strong players, makes you directly stronger in chase. And being stronger in chase from earlier is probably the best thing ever, because building on later pressure with dead zones is never reliable. There is not enough time in the game to do, unless you have certain killers like Wraith or Skull Merchant, to create enough dead zones. And yeah, iridescent videotape can be countered in many ways. So even if they pick up all the TV tapes, it does nothing. I mean, in that case, maybe you're stronger, but still, in my opinion, Mother's Mirror is like all newspaper plus Mother's Mirror is better than all newspaper and iridescent videotape. Even I've tried to consider all the possible combos, and yeah, Mother's Mirror, even in this case, it's still better than iridescent videotape. Like more consistent, less cheesy, and it allows for not mistakes, but situations that can happen where you have to commit to a 50-50, do a read on survivors, and yeah. I'll give you another little example of what I meant before, with allowing you to have more possibilities. So let's suppose there is a survivor here, and of course in this situation the correct play for survivors would be to leave, but like let's suppose we were on a different map, and what you can do with Sadako is to go like walk past windows without being seen, and usually from the first, when you manifest, survivors can see a wave behind the wall, like when you do this right now, but the other flickers, they don't know where you are, they hear no sounds, so that's very good if you're able to use them. And usually the third flicker is always a bit too early to get value, so I'm gonna try to show what I did before. Yeah, it was not perfect, but yeah, basically maybe you go around the window, then you fake again, and from here on the fourth flicker you come from behind this wall, and especially if you have all newspapers, this is very good. Like you cut a shit ton of distance, maybe the survivor is there, and many times it results in a 3-hit, especially maybe if they're a bit undecided, like where are you, maybe they think you're coming from here, and yeah, the survivor is here, but actually you come from here, and yeah, like on these walls, even here you can do a bit of this, and if you're really precise, I think even here on board you can, yeah, I've got stuck, but yeah, you can maybe walk past this and walk past their view angle, and maybe from here go here, come out from here, supposing of course here there was a pallet, and do a hit. Like there are many more mind games that you can do with this add-on. And yeah, thank you for watching this video and being with me, and I'll see you the next time with another guide.